Well, an Aussie politician is announcing a comeback. Craig Kelly has been in politics since 2010. For more than a decade, he was the Liberal member for the federal seat of Hughes in southern Sydney, and he had a very high profile. He started butting heads with the then Prime Minister Scott Morrison over net zero and a few other things. He then left the Liberals and moved to the crossbench, where he sat as an independent. He was then courted by Clive Palmer, who appointed him leader of the United Australia Party. And after Craig Kelly lost his seat in the 2022 federal election, he decided to have a crack at state politics. He registered as an independent for last year's New South Wales election. He lost, and then he went to work for One Nation as the party's campaign director. But now he's left One Nation and he's got a new home. He's announcing it for the first time this morning, and Craig Kelly is live in the studio. Craig Kelly, haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, great to be with you, Ben. Great to be back in the studio here.
You've still got the energy, I see.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at what's happening to our country and you see how poorly we are governed, just look at the last couple of weeks we saw in the Senate there, 30 bills pushed through in the one sitting time. That's not what the Senate is for. That is meant to be a house of review. Our government, we need better government in this country, and I'm determined to try and get back into that federal parliament.
Okay.
Try and put
I
some
want to
more
run through your
standards
history there. Liberal Party, gone, then an independent, then Clive Palmer's United Australia Party, then gone from there, then One Nation, gone from there. So who's the new party?
Well, Ben, the new party, Ben, I'm proud to announce today that I'm going to join the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party have always been very close to them. They hold the values that I have. And you go through those parties, yes, Ben, but my values haven't changed. I believe in small government. I believe in the entrepreneurial ability of Australians. Get government out of the way. Get government out of their hands. That's what the Libertarian Party stands for. Unfortunately, the Liberal Party that I used to be a member of appears to have abandoned all those values.
What happened with One Nation?
Look, I was there working on a contract basis for a small period of time. But look, I think the future in this country as a conservative party to the right of the Liberal Party is with the Libertarian Party.
Was there a falling out with Pauline Hanson?
Oh, look, I have great respect for Pauline. She's a wonderful lady. She's done an enormous, fantastic job for this country. She stood up. Remember, she was a political prisoner in this country. She's still being dragged through the courts today with the cases. So, look, I wish Pauline all the best.
John Ruddick is sitting alongside you, the Libertarian member in the New South Wales Parliament. So, John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Who convinced who that this was a good idea?
Well, we've been trying to get Craig Kelly to join us for a couple of years because he is very naturally an independent. I remember when Harvey Milei won in Argentina a year ago, Craig was sitting at all these social media posts. He sounded like one of us back then. Now, the thing I'd like to make, Ben, point I'd like to make is, look, Craig Kelly has been right about every contentious issue in this country in the last 10 years. I want to go through a few. He was right about democratic reform of the Liberal Party. He was right about the voice. 6 years before we had the referendum, he warned this is coming. He was right about COVID lockdowns. I believe he was right about COVID vaccines. And the biggest issue of all, why we've got inflation out there out of control, global warming. And who's been the most courageous political figure in this country to combat the fairy tale of global warming? Craig Kelly. So the Libertarian Party is thrilled to have his membership.
Okay, so the PM could call an election for March, April, most likely May next year. So are you a chance of winning a seat in the Senate if you've got Craig Kelly?
Well, I believe that, look, we're having a Democratic contest in December. We're hoping Craig puts his name forward. And if he's chosen, I think we've got a good chance of winning. I think there is real momentum behind the Libertarian Party at the moment.
Is that the plan, Craig?
Look, I'm going to put my hand up, but it is a democratic party, and that's one of the great things about the Libertarians. I've got to go and convince everyone that's a party member. But there'll be I'm sure, other candidates that put their hand up. Let's have a democratic contest.
What's happened where you've got Liberals like the two of you who've said, enough of that, I need to move somewhere else?
How long you got, Ben? How long you got? Look, I think there's a few issues. Firstly, we saw last week when we saw the Liberal Party hold hands with Labor on that age verification bill, rushing it through the Senate like in one day, having 24 hours for people to make submissions. That's not the Liberal Party way.
But parents overwhelmingly wanted that change.
Well, it's not up for another 12 months. We still don't know how it's going to happen. Even if you believe that this should happen, why is it being rushed through? Why not explain to us exactly how you're going to work these things out? They're handing enormous power to the e-safety commissioner, and are you going to have to put your digital ID, your biometric digital ID, to log on to your account, or your account will be cancelled? These are questions we don't know, and yet the Liberal Party joined hands with the Labor and pushed that through.
John, are you targeting disenfranchised Liberals? Is that what you're doing as the Libertarian Party, to try and get people to say, all right, break up with the Libs and come my way?
Well, look, the Libertarian Party is, in most ways, a purist version of the Liberal Party. We're what the Liberal Party used to be at its best. Now, what we've been running over the last few days, Ben, is a promotion on social media for anyone who was once a member of the Liberal Party. If they are now fed up with them being cowardly and weak on everything, they get a free membership with the Libertarian Party, and that's been going gangbusters. And I think just this morning we've got a new member, Craig Kelly, so we're very happy.
Craig Kelly's just announced that he's joined the party, the Libertarian Party, and hoping to find his way back into federal parliament come the next election. Craig, you've been around for a long time, right, and you're a straight shooter. How do you see things playing out at the next election between Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton?
Look, Anthony Albanese deserves to lose. He deserves to be one of the few one-term prime ministers. Just look at what the mess the economy's in. GDP per capita is falling. It's fallen 6 quarters in a row. We are going backwards in this nation. But the number of seats that Peter Dutton has to win will be very tight. But this is why it's important. I hope people consider the Libertarian Party. It's important that we get as many, not just hopefully myself, but other Libertarian members in the other states into that Senate. So if we do have a Liberal government, we can hold them to account and hold them to their principles.
You know, there'll be people listening saying, how can I believe what Craig Kelly's saying here? He was a Lib, he was United Australia, he was One Nation. Now all of a sudden he's found a new dancing partner.
Well, look, as I said, Ben, my values haven't changed. It is the values of the Liberal Party that have changed. As we said, to think the Liberal Party is going down this road of net zero. Now, we've got the most magnificent black coal seam running up our eastern seaboard here in New South Wales, and we've got Chris Bowen saying you can't use it, but it's okay to ship to China, and the Liberal parties are going, oh yeah, we'll go along with that.
Is that when the fracture happened, really, between you and Scott Morrison? Was that the main issue that brought that along?
There was that. There was a lot of the COVID issues that he again wanted doing things that I think were not Liberal Party policy. Lockdowns weren't Liberal Party policy. Vaccine mandates certainly weren't Liberal Party policy. The violation of the doctor-patient relationship is certainly not Liberal Party policy. They're all things that I tried to argue my best for within the party, but unfortunately the party decided to go another way.
John Ruddick, do you keep your candidates in line when you sign up someone like Craig Kelly? Do you sign them up to a list of guidelines to say this is what we believe and this is what you're allowed to say, or are they allowed off the leash?
Well, look, we are an ideological party. We believe in the philosophy of much smaller government. Now, what we say to people is, look, if you agree with 80% of us, you should be a member. So, of course, we accept there will be some differences, always around the margins, but we know Craig well. Me and Ross Cameron, who's the president of our party, we've known him for 15 years. We know that he's naturally one of us. But on this thing about him being a member of a few other parties, Ben, you know that the person who served the most time in the federal parliament was Billy Hughes. He was there for 51 years. And at the end, on his 90th birthday, Robert Menzies gave a speech for him. He said, look, this guy's been a member of every party in his 50 years in parliament. He said, no, I've never been a member of the country party. And Craig has never, and he said, I've got to draw the line somewhere. Craig has been a member of one or two parties, but he's never been a member of the Labor Party.
All right, we'll see what happens next year. When's your tip on the election? What month is it going to happen?
Look, I think
Craig?
there's a big chance it could be the 1st of March next year.
Early.
That's a big possibility. Could call the election on Australia Day for the 1st of March. Rushing through that legislation in the last day of Parliament, that's a big indicator. They also may try and delay it. Hopefully there's a cut in interest rates from the Reserve Bank. But look, we need to be ready for an election on the 1st of March. And if it goes a bit longer, the Libertarian Party will be ready to fight it.
Well, we do appreciate you making the announcement with us on 2GB Breakfast this morning. Thank you to Craig Kelly and John Ruddick, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ben.